Time for All Over the Map with Feliks Banel. He joins us every Friday mornings. A quick look at the stories behind local places and things. This week, a new exhibit at the Oregon Historical Society about Bob Hope's devotion to entertaining the troops was all the excuse he needed to play some old dusty jokes recorded at Fort Lewis in 1942.
Yeah, let's just start with this bit of audio, excuse me, from the Pepsodent Show with Bob Hope, live from Fort Lewis on NBC Red on good old KOMO radio on September 22nd, 1942.
Yes, sir. How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Bob, Army Camp near Seattle Hope. Telling you to always use Pepsodent, and your teeth will be strong as a fort, and they'll never come loose.
That was good.
It only gets better. Now, the Oregon Historical Society in Portland has an exhibit on display now through August. It's a traveling show from the National World War II Museum in New Orleans. It's called So Ready for Laughter, The Legacy of Bob Hope. Has artifacts and rare film footage and some interactive elements. Now, Colleen, do you know who Bob Hope is?
Of course, okay. Of course.
Radio gets accused of being this old demographic, right? And I don't know what percentage of our listeners know Bob Hope was a big star from the 30s to the 90s, and that he, more than anyone, entertained the troops overseas during wartime, from World War II right up through that first Gulf War way back in 1990. Now, Bob Hope died 20 years ago next month at age 100. Kerry Timchuk's the director of the Oregon Historical Society. He told me yesterday the exhibit's perfect for all ages, even if someone might be too young to remember Bob Hope. He said it's important to understand that Bob Hope didn't just fly to some base somewhere and do a stage show and then get out.
The story's told that, he'd get to a base, he'd perform, and then someone would happen to mention, gosh, there were these 60 soldiers who were going to be here, but they couldn't because they're on assignment, 60, 70 miles away. He would get in the Jeep and go entertain them. What a trooper, he was during that time.
Of course, he always brought attractive starlets with him, too, and that was a big part of the attraction of the Bob Hope Show. Now, during World War II, he hosted a live weekly radio show sponsored by Pepsodent, heard Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock Pacific time. Before Pearl Harbor, he started taking that show around the country to do live remote broadcasts from military bases, and he kept doing that throughout the war. His very first show of the new season in September 1942 was at Fort Lewis, and the exhibit in Portland is just a reason we need to play some of the jokes from Bob Hope's opening monologue, so stand by for the corn.
But what a welcome I got in Seattle. When I got off the train, a wild cheer went up. But nobody joined in with me, so I stopped. The mayor couldn't come down to the station to meet me. He was on the swing shift at Boeing. And they had a parade down Main Street, and the mayor kept telling me what wonderful weather they have up here. But I couldn't listen. It was my turn to row.
I couldn't listen. It was so rainy, you had to get a rowboat in the parade.
Oh,
okay.
row. I thought he said my turn to roll.
Okay.
Okay, I got it.
Now, this next set of jokes, more mayor jokes. This one might be slightly incorrect politically incorrect by 2023 standards. I'll let the audience decide.
But Seattle is a wonderful city. It's really a boom town now with all the defense industries and shipyards here. And boy, is it crowded. I stopped one guy on the street and I said, "How do you get a room here?" He said, "I don't know. I'm the mayor and I live in Tacoma." And all the girls in Seattle are working in the shipyards, and you'd be surprised how that seems to influence their figures. The girls who work on the submarines are slim and long, and the girls who work on the destroyers are short and thin. The girl I was out with last night must have been building a cattle boat.
That's all I got. But I like that he actually does topical stuff about how hard it is to find a place to live in Seattle because it was a boom town. People were moving here to work in all the defense plants and everything. Even the mayor had to live in Tacoma. I think that's a great laugh line here. What is this? 81 years later. So. Yeah. The exhibit's called So Ready for Laughter, The Legacy of Bob Hope. It's on display now through August 18th at the Oregon Historical Society in Portland. Even if you don't know who Bob Hope is, trust me, it's worth checking it out.
Why would you ask me when we have our young producer, David Burbank, here? You should ask him if he knows who Bob Hope is.
Okay, yeah, Dave, do you know who Bob Hope is?
Only via references through The Office from Michael Scott. Literally, that's the only reason.
It's hard to overstate what a presence the guy was on all media, like back in the 70s when I was a kid. It was on all these TV specials all the time, entertaining the troops and stuff, but he was just an icon, right? And Tom, back me up on this.
Yeah, for sure. And you would do well to take an afternoon someday and go on American Movie Classics or one of the old networks and find the Bob Hope On the Road movies. He did all these on the road movies with Bing Crosby, and they worked well as a team together and
sure, I'll get right on that.
Let's take us out singing the theme from On the Road to Morocco. Want to? We're off on the road to Morocco. Oh, never mind.
I don't remember the bill.
Impromptu singing is not great for live radio, Felix. But you are every Friday, and what is it, Wednesdays too? You're
That's
always
right,
here.
yes.
We like you here.
Thank you.
I told Felix, I want him to stick around the whole show because he's got the best laugh.
Just a chuckle.
And I could use that chuckle track when my jokes don't land. So
Which is every time.
I know, right? See, did you hear that? Tom gave me
Bob
like
Hope
a
would love
pathetic,
that.
like, ha ha ha.
Hey,
yeah,
it's
she's
my turn to row.